Hey guys, sorry for the delay in posting another video. Um, Things have been kind of hectic. Um, so, news about the nightmare trainer. He did not get fired. They actually let him stay home the entire 30-day probation, and he's driving. I think that they made him switch trucks, but I'm not entirely sure. But he is still working with the company, so kind of upset about that. After I left his truck, it took me 2 weeks to get another trainer, because they sent a female trainer to school, and then they told her that she needed to get in a different truck, and the training took a week, and then her switching trucks took another week. So she came and picked me up because she's not from my yard. She was from Phoenix. So she came and picked me up, and at first everything was fine. Like, she was a really cool person. I learned a lot of stuff about being a female and being a truck driver. So that was really educational, different tips and tricks to do when you're on the road, or, when you're in the truck and you don't have access to certain things. But she didn't know how to teach. I felt like they pretty much were just like, oh, you're a female, come be a trainer. But she didn't know how to teach. She was very, very demanding. What happened was, I was in her truck for 3 days. Not total, but after 3 days, we came to Reno, where I live, and I told her that I needed to grab a sweater. So I drove home in my POV, I grabbed a sweater, and I ate my lunch. And I had been driving already for 8 hours straight, and I was exhausted, because for the past 3 days, no matter what time we stopped moving, she would wake me up at 7 o'clock in the morning. And most of the time, we weren't done moving until 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. And because I was on sleeper berth that whole time, or I was off duty during that time, she was pretty much just like, oh, well, you get to drive in the morning. But I had to watch her while she was driving. So I was up until 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and then I had to wake up at 7 in the morning and make sure that, the truck was operating properly. And pretty much as soon as I would wake up, it'd be like, okay, you have to do your pre-trip. It wasn't, all right, well, you have a couple hours, go do whatever you need to do, and, I want to leave at this time. It wasn't anything like that. So that was really difficult for me because I was on her clock. I had no control. And then, so I come home, I eat my lunch, and I was taking an attitude with my family, and my family was like, look, you're tired. We've seen you tired. You need to tell her that you can't drive because you're too tired. And I didn't even know that I was tired. But, like, on my way back, I started getting a really bad headache, and it hit me, that I was tired. So I go back to the yard, and I'm like, look, I know you want to get to Phoenix early because we were on our way to Phoenix. And we had 3 days to get there, and she wanted to get there 2 days early. So she basically wanted to do it in a day. And I was like, I know that you're really hoping to get to Phoenix today, but I'm too tired. I need to go to sleep. You know, and she goes, well, I can't believe that you're not gonna drive. Like, you said that you were gonna drive us as far as you could, and now you're stopping. So she wanted me to drive a full 11-hour day, and you know, I wasn't really used to it. So I was like, I can't, you know. And she starts giving me this guilt trip, and because I'm so exhausted and I'm so upset, I start crying, and I'm like, look, I don't need this right now, okay? I'm tired, and I just need to go to sleep. You told me that you would be safe and that you would let me go to sleep, and you're not letting me go to sleep. And she was pretty much just like, oh, so now you're gonna freak out? And then she sat in the truck for 20 minutes talking to a friend of hers about me while I was sitting right there. And then she pre-tripped the truck, and she gave me the cold shoulder the whole time. And I was just like, are you kidding me? You know? And then so finally, she starts moving the truck, and I fall asleep in the passenger seat because I'm just that tired. And then we get moving, and she tells me to get in the back, so I go to sleep. And then I wake up the next morning, and she's like, all right, well, you slept for 12 hours, so now we have to get moving. And I slept for 12 hours because I had a lack of sleep. You know, it wasn't because I was like, oh, I don't want to get moving. But it was 12 hours from the time I fell asleep in the passenger seat all the way to the time I woke up the next morning. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So we get moving, and I get us to Phoenix, and then she tells me, okay, well, you can wash your clothes and, you know, take a shower and all that. So I spend like 2 hours just unwinding. You know, I'm like, all right, cool. I can call up my husband. I can listen to some music. I can watch some TV. I'm like, sweet. I get me time. You know, and then I get back in the truck, and she's like, you know, I'm going to take this load at midnight, and I'm going to have you back. And I go, okay, whatever. I get backing practice out of it. No big deal. So I'm up at like midnight waiting for her to leave. She leaves. We go to where we have to drop our load, and she makes me back. And I'm cool with that. I hook and unhook the trailer. So I unhook the trailer that we're on, and then I hook another trailer, and then I drive up to the guard shack. I check out, and then we switch. Well, the next morning, she tries waking me up at 7 o'clock, and I'm like, I'm not gonna fucking wake up. So I just pretend like I'm asleep. She gets out of the truck. I sleep for like an hour, and then I get out of the truck, and I go to talk to my old instructors from CDL school. And then on my way over there, she goes, hey, we need to leave ASAP because we have a load. Like, she didn't talk to me about any of the loads or anything like that. And I'm just like, isn't that something that we need to discuss? Like, I understand that you're trying to make money and everything, but I need to be okay with moving, you know? And I tell her, I'm like, my 10 hours isn't up. And she goes, bullshit, you've been on sleeper berth for, 12 hours. And I go, yeah, but 4 of those hours, I was actually on duty, and you didn't want me to log on duty. And she goes, well, whatever, fine. I'll do an 8 and 8 split, and I'll drive. And I go, well, I don't think that that's a good idea. Like, I kind of just want to relax. And she's like, well, we need to get moving, So I go into Phoenix, and I tell them, I'm like, she's very demanding. I'm not eating. I'm not sleeping. I feel very uncomfortable in this truck. I don't want to be in here anymore. And they're like, well, that's just how she is. And they're like, but we'll give her a call. So they give her a call, And then I go back in the office and I say, so what's going on? And they're like, well, we can't take you out of the truck right now. We don't have any more trainers. And I'm like, okay, that's not what I was hoping for. And they're like, well, we spoke to her and she said that she's sorry, but you know, that's just her personality. So just, you know, bear with her. And the first week is the hardest week in training because you have to adjust. And I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. So I get back in the truck and I feel better. I think everything's fine. I get back in the truck and the first thing that she says to me is, I don't think you're going to cut it as a driver. Or she says, you're not going to make it as a driver because you don't know how to maximize your clock. And I go, okay, I'm sorry that you feel that way. And she's like, you're logged as sleeper berth, you need to get in the back. And I go, okay, fine. So I get in the back and I sleep, and I pretty much slept for 11 hours. But time is ticking, so I gotta do another video. I'll do part 2.